when you were talking about in the companies and all the things that they have to deal with, like the integration of all those discrete components, I think there's a term for it. You can Google it. I think it's called integration gap. I found that odd, right? Because when something is so prevalent, it's got a term, right? It means it's happening a lot. It's not just, I didn't make up, I wish I would made up that term. But when I think about that integration gap, and you had alluded to it, you had already talked about it, but it also talks about the evolution. So if I am taking a product, and I've used this analogy before, is horse trailers, right? So you just think of like, a really big trailer, you put your horses in it, and these are living, breathing things that are quite awesome, but they're also very expensive, and you're moving them potentially across the country for show or for competition and others. And that trailer, though, is reliant on a bunch of other commodities that are being brought together to be brought in. So you might have a pump that provides water for the solution. Then you might have to have some type of drainage because you have to clean out the stall. You might need an air conditioning unit or ventilation system or windows or motors to control the interior compartments and segment or allow for bigger horses and lock them in place and secure them in line. So there's all these things, and oftentimes you're leveraging, because nobody wants to manage a full vertical solution. No one's going to say, oh, if I'm building a horse trailer, let's go source a motor, and then let's go source, and fabricate the wall, and let's go rig everything up. They're going to look for, like, are there commodities in the market that I can bring together to create something that's unique, novel, and compelling? And I feel like that also adds another dimension of that complexity, because that solution is dependent on the software that we build, and then all of the corresponding software of all those components that need to be constantly coordinated, because if you change software on one of those, it could actually break the feature, and then you have to do the troubleshooting, the figuring out what went wrong, how do you fix it? Can you provide that solution over the air so you reduce downtime? And could you actually, beam the software and complete the software over there? So I really feel like this field is evergreen. It really is a product that will live and mature and grow and likely look nothing like, if you think about what launches and then fast forward 3-4 years down the road, it probably will look completely different than what it started out as.
Yeah, and I go back to the beginning of the Winnebago project, and actually doing an assessment of the market and looking at all of the systems that are available in the market today. And what you found prevalent was you go into an RV and there is a wall of controllers. I mean, just like, 15, 18 different controllers, one for the air conditioner, one for the
fan,
and
then for the
fan.
Yeah.
You got the, readouts at the tank levels, and then you got the water pump switch over here, and the water heater and a temperature reading there, and your ability to, like, keep the climate comfortable, right? When the customer, all your customer really wants is to set it in 68 or 71 degrees and let it happen, is all up to you. And we used to say, like, you need to be a NASA, engineer to be able to operate and maintain an RV in an easy way, right? And why is this, going back to your integration gap? The reality, as Winnebago was a house builder on the back of chassis, the integration of all the electronics and all the communication between those devices is a huge barrier, right? They don't have the skills and know-how, experience, or even the right resources to develop a solution for that. That's where they turn to us, and we were able to help in that capacity. But it all started with, like, the manufacturer was okay with running power from the 12-volt battery to each of those controllers. They could do that and feel fairly good about it, but that doesn't, again, deliver on the experience and expectations that consumers have today. So we want to deliver that better consumer experience. And that, I don't mean the end retail consumer of an RV per se. Sometimes that's the plumber using the work truck, right? or the firemen using the fire truck.